Something really, really simple. I'm going to get you to bring your hands out right in front of you like this. Just look at this space. Look at this space between the hands. So look at this space. Close your eyes. Be aware of the space. You know what it's like to feel powerful magnets pulling together. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. That's right. In a moment, I'm going to remove my fingers. You're going to feel those hands coming together. The powerful magnet coming together even more strongly. That's right. Those hands pulling together, additional force. That's it. Pushing. That's it. That's it. All the way together. In fact, to the point where they can just solidly stick and lock all the way through, locking, sticking to the point where if you were to try and unstick those hands solidly together. Try and unstick them. Really try and unstick them. That's it. Really try. Open your eyes. Look at them up. Look at them. Really try and unstick them. They remain stuck until... That's it. Hey there, how's it going? This is James Tripp. This is a video for James Tripp on YouTube. You've just watched, if you've watched the front end of this video, a classic hypnotic phenomena piece called Magnetic Hands. I am facilitating this using the Hypnosis Without Trance approach. Really, it's a co-creation with the person I'm working with, but that's all part of how things work inside of Hypnosis Without Trance. What I'm going to share with you in this video is a part of a longer breakdown of this. I think the original is about 36 minutes or so. We're going to pull about 8 minutes out. So you can see the kind of level of detail that I go into when I'm teaching and unpacking how I do these kind of hypnotic facilitations. Now, I'm sharing this right now because it is an extract from a lesson that is amongst 630 other lessons in the Hypnosis Without Trance Online Deep Apprenticeship archive. I want to let you know that access to this archive is closing for good at the end of the day on Monday, the 10th of July, 2023. But there is an opportunity before then to get lifetime access. And if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in hypnotic facilitation, phenomena work, change work, this kind of thing, 630 lessons there are in there, most of them video, the rest audio, and there's a lot of stuff you are not going to learn anywhere else. So you'll find a link around here if you're interested in that. Let's look at this breakdown, or this extract from a longer breakdown. I must warn you ahead of time, you're going to see reference to other concepts, because obviously this is taken out of context and it relates to other lessons, other frameworks that are shared within that archive. But you'll get a sense of what we're talking about here, in spite of the fact that you won't necessarily know what's being referred to by some of the references. Okay, let's dive into this and I'll check back in with you on the other side. I'm going to do something really, really simple. I'm not going to do the setup around the flower and the stuff like that. I'm not going to do any of that. Something really, really simple. I'm going to get you to... So there's a couple of bits of business here right up front that sit inside of the setup and pre-frame stage. Now, as I've already mentioned, most of the framing has been handled in the framing for the training. That's where I've seeded the ideas that I want people to buy into, that are going to have them really engage with the processes. So much of that has been done, but there's a little bit of work here where I say, I'm just going to do something really, really simple. Okay, now think about how much is suggested by that line. I'm just going to do something really, really simple. What it implies is, number one, that there is a thing here that we are going to do. And the kind of casualness with which I suggest it suggests it's a thing that I've done many times before. This is indirect suggestion at play here. The other thing about saying it's really, really simple is I've got somebody come up in front of a group of people. They may have it in their mind that there's a lot of stuff they're going to have to keep their mind on, a lot of complex things. They don't want to make a fool of themselves in front of the group. So I just want to reassure them in this moment that this is not a big deal. This is a really, really simple thing. And I want to give the impression that this is the kind of thing that I might do all the time, every day. It is just simply no big deal. So aside from what's being suggested by the words, linguistically, look at what my manner is suggesting. Look at what my tonality is suggesting. I really want to take the pressure off this moment, and that is why I'm throwing that line. And we're going to do something really, really simple. And you see that I do that twice. Okay, I layer that in twice. Now you see, before the second time I say that, there is a little bit of non-verbal pantomime. Something really, really simple. So I go, I look down, I access down, do an intake of breath, and I click my fingers to mark a moment, and then I say it again. That is witch doctoring. Okay, that's pure witch doctoring. I know exactly where I'm going, but what I want to do is communicate to the person I'm about to work with that I'm doing some evaluation work about something, and this conveys that what we are doing is for real, it is meaningful, it is not just being done perfunctory by the book. There are considerations being made. This is layering meaning in, again, indirectly, using the principle of witch doctoring. Okay, so let's move on. Something really, really simple. I'm going to get you to bring your hands out right in front of you like this. Just look at this space. So we're into phase 2 of the process map here. And one of the first things we see is a really nice, really early green flag response. I have the composite communication. This is verbal and non-verbal. I say, I'm going to get you to bring your hands out in front of you. As I do this, I come forward. My hands are going to his hands to guide them up. This is a full body communication, and my intention is in it. And really early in this communication, before the words are coming out, Craig, who I'm working with here, is responding to my non-verbals. He just flows into it. His hands come up. Now, I want to make this really, really clear. Craig does not know where I'm going at the moment. So if you compare this to the breakdown of the card stick I did with Alberto Delisla, he knew what I was doing, so he could kind of preempt to a certain degree. Craig absolutely does not know what piece we are doing, so he is responding perfectly and fluidly to the non-verbal components of the communication and to my intention that is underlying those. And this fluid response is an absolutely beautiful green flag. I also want to say something here quickly about the languaging component of this composite communication. I say, I'm going to get you to bring your hands out in front of you like this. This phrasing, I'm going to get you to, this is something that I will use a lot. Either I'm going to get you to, or can I just get you to? Now, I do this as I'm doing it. It is a softener. What we want to do here is we want to be completely in charge of the dynamic and make that clear, but at the same time, we do not want to be being pushy or acting like we're encroaching on somebody's sovereignty. So the trick is to be authoritative without being authoritarian. If I were to simply bark commands, stand here, put your hands out in front of you, this can seem very authoritarian, and a lot of people want to push back from that. So I put this little softener up front. I'm just going to get you to, or can I get you to stand over here? If I did that as a question, by the way, and say, can I get you to stand over here? Or can I get you to just bring your hands out in front of you like this? I tend to use a command tonality with that, which means I don't go up in my inflection at the end, which would imply questioning. I would never say, can I get you to stand like this? I wouldn't do that. I'd say, can I get you to come and stand like this? And I always enact what I want them to do as I'm saying it. So we've got the softener on the front, which enables me to be very authoritative, but takes that authoritarian edge off. And I am combining the words with actions that show the person how I want them to respond. And obviously we've already looked at the non-verbal side of this. So now let's move on with the next piece. I'm going to get you to bring your hands out right in front of you like this. Just look at this space. Look at this space between the hands. So look at this space, close your eyes, be aware of the space. So we're in phase 2 still at the moment, and as discussed in the principles section, a major part of phase 2 is establishing a point of focus that is relevant to the action that we want to have unfold. So the obvious point of focus that we choose here is between the hands. We are going to create in a moment a sensation between these hands, so this is why I invite Craig to look right here. Now there's a thing that I do here which some people may wonder as to why I've chosen to do this. You could technically do this with the eyes open or with the eyes closed. I invite him to close his eyes. The reason for this is because I'm stood right in front of him and I'm looking there as well, and I don't want my eyes to be drawing his eyes. So in this instance, I internalize the focus by having him close his eyes and continue to be aware of the space between the hands. So even though his eyes have closed, I still want to keep that focal point, so I have him continue to be aware of that. So I invite him to close his eyes and be aware of the space. Close your eyes, be aware of the space. You know what it's like to feel powerful magnets pulling together. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. That's right. So here I'm simply seeding an idea that we are going to use to shape experience. And the idea is powerful magnets pulling together. Now the language structure I use here is, you know what it's like to feel powerful magnets pulling together. But then I do this interesting thing where I emphasize, you know what it's like. You know what it's like. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the point of this communication is to have him connect with an experience. If I just race through it like a bunch of words, it doesn't give him a chance to really connect with that experience. So I repeat that a couple of times. You know what it's like. You know what it's like, with some pauses in between. Now every time I say you know, this has Craig do something called a trans-derivational search. Within his memory, within his experience, within his neurology are times and places he's felt these magnets pulling together. And every time I say you know, he has to verify that in his mind by rapidly accessing some of that experience. And this is exactly what we're doing here, and we're using this trans-derivational search to begin to revivify that experience, because we're going to go on to utilize it in a moment. Okay, so what did you make of that? Was that something that you would like to get more of? If it is, you have that opportunity to get that lifetime access before the archive closes to the public for good. You'll find a link around here or in the description below. Other than that, if you've enjoyed this video, if you've got something from it, regardless of whether you want to get access to the archive or not, please do give it the thumbs up. Please do subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. I'm going to be putting a lot more hypnosis material up here as we go forward. I have a new plan for this. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell. And if you have any questions, please do make use of the comments below.